The Democratic Senator Sheldon Whitehouse decided to go on MSNBC and make a dick of himself. Listen to the claim he makes about Wall Street and Bernie Sanders.
Want to rebuild a 5-4 court that will do the things that their big donors want. That is the only explanation that makes sense in all of this. So it's not just the tit for tat, it's the why that makes one think.
Well, I mean, that's not the only political explanation. I mean, there's some people that have different judicial philosophies than you and have different judicial philosophies than Ruth Bader Ginsburg and have different judicial philosophies than Barack Obama. Some of us have a different view of what the Supreme Court could and should not do. So I don't give a damn about big donors. I don't give a damn about big corporations. I think hedge fund guys in hedge funds and women in hedge funds should pay more than 14% taxes. I think they should pay a minimum of 30% taxes. At the same time,
and none of that happens in the Senate because of the power of these people, which the Supreme Court gave to them in the Citizens United decision, in an unprecedented and very poorly reasoned decision.
This all started with Citizens United? Did you support Hillary Clinton or did you support Bernie Sanders? I don't know the answer to that question.
I supported Hillary.
Hillary, I mean, can you think of a major Democratic candidate in the history of the party that had closer ties to Wall Street than Hillary Clinton? I can't.
No, but she may have been the Democrat with the closest ties, but the Republicans are married at the hip. So please,
I think
not really much of a comparison.
People on Wall Street, again, not to be difficult,
but not to be difficult. Trump's administration right now, for Lord's sake.
Most of the people I know that run Wall Street, and you know it's the truth too. You don't want me to finish the answer?
Well, hold on.
You don't want me to?
You go, and then he goes.
Well, it's hard to when I can't finish a sentence. You and I both know that Wall Street wanted Hillary Clinton to win a hell of a lot more than they wanted Donald Trump to win.
Oh, please. They were spending money in New Hampshire for Bernie Sanders.
Oh, please? Are you? Okay, so you're on national television. I want you to know that. And everything that you were saying is going down on transcripts. I'm going to ask you again. Is it your position here, based on everything you've said before, and that's why I'm asking this question, that people that ran Wall Street preferred Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton in the 2016 election?
Probably not, because he is a potentially dangerous and a very unpredictable person.
I agree.
But they did not want Hillary Clinton to win. That is why Wall Street Money supported Bernie Sanders in Democratic primaries to take her out, because they thought she would be the stronger candidate. You can't pretend that didn't happen.
I can pretend that can't happen because the Clintons had an extraordinarily close relationship with Wall Street, and they have for the past 20 or 30 years. So
Sheldon Whitehouse just claimed that Bernie Sanders was the candidate of Wall Street. Okay, so first let me address some of the other points there real fast. To the idea that Wall Street preferred Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump. Oh, in the election, that's absolutely true. Now that the election is over and Trump has been president for a while and they could see the picks that he made and the direction that he's going in, I actually think Wall Street is happier Donald Trump is president right now. He basically took Goldman Sachs and just said, okay, you now run the White House. He appointed at least 4 Goldman Sachs officials, top Goldman Sachs guys, and put him in his administration. So he is as friendly to Wall Street as you could possibly be. He's in the midst of deregulating right now. So they preferred Hillary before the election. I think now after the election, they're going, actually, Trump isn't even all that bad. Because during the campaign, Trump even had in the Republican platform Glass-Steagall put in. But now is Glass-Steagall anywhere in sight? Is he talking at all about re-regulating Wall Street? No, he's talking about deregulating everything. He said he wants 75 to 80% deregulation across the board. Never mind all of his picks that are just going to, bias the entire system even more in favor of the big banks and of Wall Street. He holds over $1 billion in personal debt, mostly on Wall Street, Trump does. You don't think he's going to do their bidding? Of course he does. He is right now. Okay, so that addresses that argument. Now, to the point that Bernie Sanders is the candidate of Wall Street. Oh, good googly moogly. I can't even believe I have to do this segment. So let's get some basic facts out there. The Clintons collectively in their careers, their respective careers, they've raised over $3 billion overall. $3 billion. You know, call me crazy, but I think if you raise about $3 billion from special interests, that you're probably going to do favors for those special interests and not primarily care about the American people who you're supposed to be fighting for. Okay, furthermore, Hillary Clinton went on a Wall Street and, giant corporate speaking tour where she got paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to talk for 40 minutes to an hour. Now, Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, didn't He didn't do that. And when you look at the transcripts that we have for various speeches that Hillary Clinton gave, they were embarrassing. And of course, there's a reason why she didn't want them to leak to the public, because it exposes her for what she is, which is a puppet of the elite. So, for example, one of the things she argued in one of her speeches she gave to one Wall Street firm or another, she said, isn't it terrible that there's like this demonization and this bigotry and this oppression against the rich? Yeah, if you think that, I don't want you being president, because that's crazy. You know, that's a Republican thing. That's a Mitt Romney thing to say and a Mitt Romney thing to believe. That's what that is. She also said she wants totally open trade borders. Now, the right actually took that quote and took it out of context and made it misleading. Like she said, open borders, like for people to flow in and out. No, that's not what she believes, and that's not what she said. If you look at it in context, she was talking about trade borders. But that's even worse, because that means TPP on steroids, NAFTA on steroids. That means, outsource even more jobs and help out the business class and the owner class and screw over the workers and regular people. This is why people don't like Hillary Clinton, because, again, it's proven that she's sold out to Wall Street. Look at the numbers. Hey, Sheldon Whitehouse, do you not understand that Open Secrets exists? And we can look at where she raised her money from, and we can see that the financial sector is the biggest contributor now. And also, she raises money in a variety of different ways. So she takes money from Wall Street and from others for the Clinton Foundation. Okay, that's one form of corruption. She takes it for her campaign. That's another form of corruption. And she also takes it, probably most importantly, for her super PACs. So this idea, no, Wall Street didn't prefer her. Who are you kidding? You think Goldman Sachs gave her $675,000 or whatever it is because they want to hear out her opinion on abortion? No, it's a preemptive bribe for, if she gets power, you do favors for them. And Bernie Sanders, meanwhile, a guy who went directly to the grassroots, a guy who raised in small money amounts, $27 at a time, a guy who's principled, who has an actual progressive platform to fight for the people, he gets smeared as the candidate of Wall Street. Does truth not matter at all anymore? Does everybody just get to make anything up and just say it and there's no consequences? Sheldon, you're a joke. And perhaps, it's time to primary your punk ass. Pat Robertson did one of my favorite segments of all time on his show this week. Let's take a look and laugh.
Well, are our young men being turned into wimps? Is that what's happening on college campuses? Can you believe that they've got to apologize for being masculine? They have to apologize for being white. They've got to apologize for being males. I mean, it is crazy what's happening on college campuses. Not at Regent University, I might add, but on many of them. Well, on many college campuses, masculinity used to be looked as something to be desired. Now it's regarded as something shameful. Would you want a wimp? Really?
No, I like manly men, and they are scarce out there.
Well, I mean, the time they're little kids, they're feminized. I mean, it's just awful.
Look, I have to admit, I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. So, is there like a slight agreement between me and some people on the right when they talk about the oversensitive social justice warriors and the PC police on college campus? Yeah, in fact, I agree 100% that social justice warriors and PC police are a problem. I mean, and because there's evidence of it. So, for example, when there's a conservative speaker, oftentimes they try to get the speaker pulled. Look, even if I disagree with the conservative speaker, of course I want to let them come speak. There's been instances of pulling down posters that have a conservative message and, trying to get professors fired for shit that they shouldn't be fired over because there's just a movement. And safe spaces. Safe spaces are stupid, and lists of microaggressions, and, oh, you kind of maybe hurt my feelings even though it wasn't intended, so I'm going to make a list of shit you shouldn't say. Fuck off, okay? So I'm actually with the right on that. I do think that sometimes they overstate the problem, and furthermore, they never call out the PC police and the social justice warriors on their own side, like the president of the goddamn United States, who sued Bill Maher over a joke, who threatened to sue The Onion over a satire article. He's the ultimate social justice warrior, Trump is. And speech police. So there's hypocrisy for them on that too. But generally speaking, yeah, I think they're a problem. I never understood this argument, because I've heard this a few times. People on the right like, oh, men aren't allowed to be men anymore. Zip, zop, zoobity bop. I like how I just turned Pat Robertson into Bill Cosby. The Jell-O pudding pops. Zip, zop, zoobity bop. Slip something in your drink. Okay, stop, Kyle. But yeah, Pat's over there with his shitty posture. I like manly men. I bet you do, Pat. I like a big old floppy one. Oh, I didn't say that out loud. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, I like manly men, and I don't understand why manly men aren't allowed to be manly men anymore. I'm a manly man. I need manly men. What are you saying? Kids have to apologize for being white. They have to apologize for being masculine. No? Nobody's ever come up to me and said, hey, you're white. I'd like an apology, please. Never happened. Never once. None of my friends. I have a lot of white friends. None of them have. Yeah, it happened the other day, man. There I was walking down the street. Next thing you know, people giving me the side eye because I'm white. Pretty sure white people have had a good deal for a while. It's still going on now. And I just don't understand. But I think it's funny, which is why we're talking about it. We were shaming masculine men. That's what's happening. The masculine men are being shamed. Do I still have a pulse? I can't tell. New poll numbers out on Trump's Syria attack from the Washington Post and ABC, and it's pretty sad. So let's take a look here. When it comes to the Democrats, 37% support Trump's Syria strikes. 38% supported it under Obama. The Republicans, 86% support Trump's strikes. 22% supported it under Obama. Okay, so in 2013, basically the exact set of facts were presented to us. We had Assad allegedly doing a chemical attack against his people. So Obama said, that is a red line and we are not going to tolerate it and we are going to go in now. And the American people went, fuck you. We don't want you to go in and we don't even necessarily believe you about what you're saying happened. So overall, back in 2013, only 30% of the American people supported an attack on Syria. Only 30%. So again, that's a giant fuck you to the military-industrial complex and all these interventionist wars. And oftentimes they're propaganda. You know, they lied about Iraq and they lied repeatedly. Oh, he was attached to Al-Qaeda. No, he wasn't. Oh, he was buddy-buddy with Osama bin Laden. No, he wasn't. Oh, he had weapons of mass destruction. No, he didn't. And now we're supposed to believe Assad, chemical attack on his people, when we know that the rebels have used chemical weapons too. You know that, right? So, you know, this idea of it's our place, we got to go fight. And maybe we wrap up the other 7 interventions we're doing before we take another one on. Just a thought. And maybe we don't get in the middle of a civil war where we admit we don't like both sides. The U.S. government says we hate Assad, terrible dictator, murderous asshole. But we also hate the rebels because most of them are jihadists, which is true. Okay, so why the fuck would you get involved? But they want to get involved. So Obama drew the red line, then he had to back away from the red line, and his dodge was, well, ask Congress. If Congress approves it, then we'll do it. And Congress didn't vote on it, because if they did and they voted for it, well, then you got another incident like Iraq where people can point back to it later and say, look, Congress went along with it. So Obama basically stayed out, didn't bomb Assad, but he funneled arms, and weapons, money to the rebels. So now fast forward to today, exact same set of facts. You have Assad allegedly doing a chemical attack, which, by the way, is weird because he gave up his chemical weapons 2 years ago. How does that work? Remember, it was very public. You had John Kerry meeting with a Russian official, and it was a public meeting, and the Russian official said, is there anything that he could do to not get attacked by you, talking about Assad? And Kerry was like, yeah, he could give up all of his chemical weapons, but he's not going to do that. And then he did that. So he gave up his chemical weapons. He basically had already won the war. But yeah, he did a gratuitous chemical attack on civilians. So same set of facts. Assad allegedly does a chemical attack against his own people. And then Trump decides, oh, yeah, we're going to go do it. Even though I said a million times we shouldn't do it in 2013 on Twitter, very publicly. But now they go and do it. And so today, right after Trump did the attack, by the way, no warning to Congress, none to us, the people. He just did it, which is crazy. I mean, did we elect a dictator? That's how it works. But he did it, and then the polls came out after. 51% of the American people support it. Now, some people might say, hey, it's a majority, so, you know, hey, it is what it is. But look at historically how popular wars are when they happen. So in Afghanistan and Iraq, it was over 80%. I think either Iraq or Afghanistan was over 90% approval rating to do the war. This is 51%, which means he didn't do like a huge propaganda effort and then do the war. He just was like, yeah, attack. So for it to be 51% right when it happened, and people get a sense of like when there's a war that initially launches, people feel like, I don't want to feel like I'm not patriotic. So yeah, war, great. But now that's tanking even more and more and more, and you're going to be right back to about 30% very soon. But where did almost all of the change in the number come from? Because under Obama, the idea was 30% popular. Under Trump, now it's 51%. Where did that change come from? Well, there's your answer. Again, under Trump doing the Syria strike, 37% of Democrats agree with it, which, by the way, is pathetic. Those Democrats are rubes. Trump is the thin-skinned buffoon, and he's crazy, and he's impulsive, and we shouldn't trust him with weapons, but he should use the weapons and get us in another war that might escalate with Russia and lead to World War III. Good idea, do that. Be ISIS's Air Force, we love that. But it was 37% of Democrats support Trump doing it, 38% supported Obama doing it, so at least they're consistent, even though I disagree with them. But the Republicans, only 22% under Obama said it's a good idea, and 86% say it's a good idea for Trump. I mean, that's a joke. What this shows is these people do not think about the world and do not think about the individual issues where they say, okay, what do I think about the minimum wage? What do I think about abortion? What do I think about tax policy? They don't do that. They just go, what's my team doing? Yeah, is my team on this side of this issue? Then I guess I'm on this side of this issue. Yeah, but wait a second. You go back just a few years and, your team was on the other side of the issue. So maybe evaluate the issue on its merits. No, I go wherever my team goes. If they flip-flop and completely change their position, I change my position too. Well, then don't get mad at me when I call you a stupid person, because that's how a stupid person acts. It's the blind leading the blind. It's this easy to get you to support an offensive war against a country that didn't attack us? So you have Daddy Trump is in favor of it, so now I'm in favor of it. What a joke you are. Now, by the way, I'm ranting here against the people who flipped. So it was 22% who supported Obama doing the same thing. Now it's 86%. But to be clear, there are many Trump supporters who said, no, this isn't what we voted for you for, because Trump's rhetoric on Syria was the exact opposite on the campaign trail. He's like, no, I'm not going to get involved. Yeah, sure, Assad's a bad guy, but he is fighting ISIS, and we're just going to stay out. Why would we get involved in that? So now he flipped on it. So there were some prominent Trump supporters who said, yeah, I'm done. Mike Cernovich disagreed with Trump on this issue when he's a Trump bootlicker. Paul Joseph Watson did. Ann Coulter did. So even though you have many, many hypocrites who don't care in any way about the actual issues and just blindly follow their dear authoritarian leader, some of them maintain just a wee bitty bit of integrity and said, nah, I disagree on this one. And yes, I'm about to go vomit because I just insisted that Ann Coulter had a little itty bitty bit of integrity. She doesn't really. But at least on the issue of Syria, she was somewhat consistent. So it's pretty rare that we talk about state politics, so something either really good or really stupid is happening when we do. But we have a story here about a North Carolina Republican, and they say this. The Raleigh News and Observer said Wednesday that Concord Republican Representative Larry Pittman was responding to marriage equality supporters on social media after he introduced a bill to the state house urging the state to defy the U.S. Supreme Court ruling legalizing same-sex marriage for all 50 states. A commenter told Pittman that the highest court in the land had decided the question and urged him to get over it. Pittman responded, and if Hitler had won, should the world just get over it? Lincoln was the same sort of tyrant and personally responsible for the deaths of 800,000 Americans in a war that was unnecessary and unconstitutional. Huh? That might be one of the stupidest comments I've ever heard. Where do I begin with this? So first of all, was it really an unnecessary war when it freed the slaves? I mean, that seems kind of necessary to me. Call me crazy. And then you're going to compare Hitler and Abraham Lincoln and call Abraham Lincoln a tyrant when he's just, by the way, ranked across the board by Republicans, Democrats, virtually everybody, as one of the best, if not the best president we've ever had, for obvious reasons. No, he's like Hitler. He's a tyrant. That's what he is. And then furthermore, so we have multiple layers of stupid already, but this was in response to somebody saying, hey man, you shouldn't propose a bill that rebans gay marriage in the state of North Carolina. By the way, this guy has no idea how our country works and how the government works and how the Constitution works, because state law doesn't override federal law. Federal law overrides state law. So the Constitution has been interpreted to have equality for everybody, meaning gay marriage as well. Gay people are allowed to get married like straight people. It's been interpreted under the Equal Protection Clause. So now you have a state Republican saying, we disagree in North Carolina. It doesn't matter if you disagree. That's federal law, and it overrides North Carolina law. But he says, yeah, anyway, we're going to re-ban gay marriage, proving I don't know how the law works, because that law would be null and void even if it passes. But because some people don't want him to re-ban gay marriage, he's saying, this is like Hitler. And by the way, Lincoln was like Hitler, too. I didn't know. This is the inception of stupid. I didn't know it was possible to be this stupid. Stupid within stupid within stupid within stupid. And that's the main point of this segment here, is to remind people that there's no bottom to that barrel. So if you think we look at Louis Gohmert and we're like, look at this jackass. But there are so many state politicians in the country who are like, yeah, if this is the stupid Olympics, bitch, I'm Bruce Jenner. Step aside and watch me do it.